Lies of P is a Souls-like game that came out in September of 2023. Since then, it has received many praises for being one of the best in its genre, rivaling From Software's dominant fashion in the field. From its combat to its story to all of the quality of life improvements it has taken to make the genre feel fresh, while also taking its own step forward to stand out from the crowd. And while these are all things that have made me fall in love with the game since its release, it isn't what we're going to be talking about today. You see, Lies of P also excels in its soundtrack. There are many records you can collect throughout the game in different locations and questlines scattered throughout the world of Krat. And that is where our focus will be. Today we are going in deep, exploring how these records relate to either the overall narrative of the story or the questline that was completed in order to collect the record. I'm very excited to get into this, as this has become my favorite game of all time, with these records being one of the main reasons I really took to this game. So let's get our good headphones on, get the turntable spinning, and dive into each of the records found in Lies of P and its DLC, Overture. Before we explore our first record, I wanted to give a little background information on what Lies of P is about and a basic rundown of the story, so we can call back to this later. There will be spoilers for the game ahead, so this is your first and last warning if you haven't played through the game. Lies of P takes place in a dystopian world, after an event called the Puppet Frenzy caused all of the puppets in Krat to become, well, frenzied, and start to attack and murder humans on sight. This event left minimal survivors and most civilians are gone. There are a few people left in the city of Krat, most of them being stalkers. Stalkers are mercenaries, vigilantes, and troubleshooters of Krat society. They performed various jobs for the wealthy, notably serving as bodyguards for the city's nobles, but after the frenzy, many have gone rogue or are doing their best to survive in the world they live in, either through mercenary work or something less glamorous. Other survivors in this world are affected by a disease called the petrification disease. The petrification disease is a horrible disease that causes scabs and stones to appear all over the victims' bodies as their organs slowly begin to fail. This disease was caused due to the amount of ergo released into the air in the city after it was used to power and run the many puppets in the city. This is the state of the world when we meet our main protagonist, P. I understand that this game is based around the story of Pinocchio, but he's never actually called Pinocchio in the game and is actually called Carlo by many characters, as that was who the puppet was based on, but this is the puppet of Carlo, so it isn't really him. This is P, and this is what he'll be called for the rest of the video. P is a puppet who is not affected by the puppet frenzy and is tasked with finding Geppetto to stop the puppet frenzy. From here, we can follow along and talk about our records as we collect them through the story. I'll be talking about each one in the order that we can collect them throughout the game and provide my own insight and take on what these records mean for the context in which we get it, as well as the overall narrative of the story of P becoming more human. This means our first record is my personal favorite, and the record that I think changed every fiber of my being when I heard it for the first time. A fun fact about the base game records in Lies of P also is that the most of them were actually first used in a NeoWiz game called DJ Max before being remixed to fit Lies of P instead. You can find a Reddit post with a list of all of the original songs in the description. Here's Feel in DJ Max.
Your eyes.
To find and acquire the record Feel in Lies of P, we visit with a weeping woman through a window while trying to locate Geppetto on Elysian Boulevard. She's one of the few survivors of the puppet frenzy, but is suffering from the petrification disease and is going blind. She asks us to retrieve her baby from Krat City Hall and bring it back to her, as they were separated when she was moved into this quarantine zone. The only baby we can find at Krat City Hall is a broken baby puppet that we can bring back to her. Giving her the baby puppet gives us two dialogue options. We can either tell her the truth and tell her that is a puppet, or we can lie and say she's a cute baby. If you tell her the truth, she does not believe you and you walk away empty-handed. But if you lie, she'll agree with you and give you the record Feel for her heartfelt gratitude and the kindness you showed her in granting her final wish to be with her baby in her dying hours. One thing we should mention about lying in this game is that unlike the Pinocchio story, lying is not a bad thing. Puppets are not supposed to be able to lie due to a grand covenant binding them, but P is a special case, and so is able to lie. Each time P lies, he gains a little bit of humanity instead of his nose growing like the Disney story. Each lie we are able to tell, in most cases, is a white lie, a lie we tell to make the person feel better about their current situation or feelings about what has happened. In this case, we let the dying woman feel at peace with her baby in her final moments, rather than letting her know it is a dead plastic puppet. Something that helped cause the situation she is currently in and would cause her to grieve her missing baby still in her final moments. It's a white lie, but one that can drastically change how this woman feels in these last few moments. Before we dive into each record, I want to give you a chance to listen to each record in full. I will put timestamps to skip ahead if you don't want to listen and just want to get into the analysis, though they are bangers, so I don't know why you would want to.
Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright, just dance with me all through the night, turn it out, close to you, I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you, give it to me baby, feel alright, I feel good, just want you step with me, dance with me, here with me, feel alright, I feel good on you, alright, to make a groove all night. Close your eyes, come to me, feel alright, just dance with me all through the night, turn it out, close to you, I feel good, 'cause I just know feeling of you, give it to me baby, feel alright, I feel good, just walk your step with me, dance with me, here with me, feel alright, I feel good on you, alright, to make a groove all night. Feel alright, I feel good, just want you step with me, dance with me, feel alright, I feel good on you, alright, make a groove all night. Close your eyes, come to me, close your eyes.
As a side note, before we get into our records, just remember that this is all subjective. We are all free thinkers and we have our own thoughts and feelings on things presented to us. If you feel differently than how I interpret or view these records, that is okay. Just let me know in the comments what you think it all means instead. After a first listen through, it would seem that this song is about two lovers, a particularly close pair wanting to just dance the night away. As it's a female voice sung by Sao Jae-young, I believed it could be a woman calling out to her lover to be held close on this rainy night, since we can hear the storm outside during the song. To make each other feel okay, even if it's just for tonight, as they make each other feel safe. A moment of calm and peace in their lives for each other as they dance the night away. But in the context of how we received this record, it may also be a mother singing for her child. She holds it close to her in the night. Since the weeping woman wanted nothing more than to hold her child again, the context for this feels very strong. It could be this woman singing to her child one last time in this dark and scary night that this world is going through. The song itself does sound a little bit like a lullaby, a quiet, somber tune to comfort and soothe her child in the quiet of the dark night. Just ignore this section of the song in this context.
I forgot on you, alright.
For me, the song just gives me an overwhelming feeling of peace and comfort every time I listen to it. The soft melody on the piano with the comforting rain in the background and almost muffled soft voice of Sao Jeong combines to make such a powerful and heartwarming song that never fails to bring a smile and a tear at the same time. In the context of the overall game, P is a puppet. Puppets cannot feel whatsoever, so these feelings are foreign to him while listening to this record. The understanding of wanting to hold close to someone would make no sense in a puppet perspective, but what these records do for P is after listening to each record to completion, he gains a bit of humanity. So while a puppet may not understand the logic and reasoning behind the song, a need to have someone close and to hold on to in a dark, stormy night, it can help to understand the sentiment and feeling of having another person to be comfortable with in this scary world. Receiving divine service happens once you reach St. Frangelico's chapel and meet Cecile, a nun who serves the Archbishop Andreas, but is the only one left after both the puppet frenzy and petrification disease. She asks if we can please retrieve the Archbishop's holy mark from his quarters, as it will help give her strength as she lives. Once we retrieve it and give it to her, she thanks us for this quiet reminder of faith we have given her. Now we must beat the fallen Archbishop Andreas to proceed further. Once he has been slain, Cecile will disappear, leaving us a note behind. Thank you for your kindness. I'm a sinner who murdered innocent people in the past. I couldn't suppress the monster in me. Only the Archbishop saved me. Of course, he was a human who makes mistakes. Even saints succumb to wealth and power. But at least I can live as myself, and that's a huge blessing. So yes, I believe that he was a saint. Now you open to the second path. Thank you for letting me live as a human, not a monster. And included with it is the divine service record. If you fail to get her the mark before defeating the Archbishop, however, she will not disappear and instead be replaced by a carcass, which will attack you on sight. So for whatever reason, this mark of faith helps prevent her from turning into this carcass, which is a zombie-like creature made from experiments from alchemists on the island of Krat. I'm not sure what this means, but maybe our record can give us some clues. As you probably gathered, there's actually no lyrics for this record. There are a few records that have no lyrics, so there's not much digging we can do into that aspect of the record, but we can still dig into the music. I unfortunately don't have much background in analyzing musical chords and how the music fits together in its structure, but I did play the cello for 10 years growing up as a kid, so I do know some musical know-how. This song uses 2 guitars, a violin, and an accordion as its instruments, which I do find interesting, as these are not usually primary instruments used for worship, with the primary instruments usually being the organ or the piano. The guitar is used as a background piece, where usually a bass or drums would be, and the accordion and violin take turns during the piece, each taking the melody and adapting it before passing it off to the other. I love that the violin piece will usually take the music very high, while the accordion will generally stay in the lower octaves. It's almost a call and response to each other, as they rarely play together, only on a few instances where one starts as the other is ending. Based on the context of acquiring this record, we know that this record has some divine and religious aspects to it, between Cecile the nun and her Archbishop Andreas. The violin and accordion sections could signify a conversation between a religious follower and a higher being, either literally, such as a priest or archbishop, or maybe even something more spiritual than that, such as a god. Looking at the description of the record, the line divine service for any affair makes me lean more towards this being a call and response for their god. Taking this for Lies of P as a whole, religion is very much a human thing. It's very spiritual and a way to try and connect with others and their inner self in service to a higher being. This is not typically seen in any other animals and is strictly a human thing. As puppets, they do technically have a higher being, their creators and humans, and they did, service them in many ways before the frenzy. But that was not out of love or compassion for the humans, as many people have for their spiritual creators in religion. This was because they were forced to and were made to service humans through laws and covenants instead of their own free will. The idea that someone would serve others of their own free will and goodness of their heart, even in trying times such as this, shows empathy and humility in themselves, good qualities to have as a human or a puppet learning to become more human. There's a few things I noticed during the editing of this video that I wanted to bring up that I either didn't know about or didn't notice while writing the script for this video. I'm calling these afterthought segments, and they're just going to be quick little side notes on something about the record that I found. The first one is about Cecile turning into a carcass. Obviously, something happened to prevent Cecile from turning into a carcass, but my gut tells me it has something to do with her faith. But it seems weird to put it in a game mainly focused on the science of things, so I don't know. Maybe miracles do happen in this world. Someday is very easy to acquire and does not have a big side quest story around it. Someday is received when you purchase it from the Malum District Black Market Trader. A few of these traders are found all around Krat and will share their wares for a price of ergo. Just don't ask how they get their wares.
Les flocons de neige qui brillent dans le ciel nocturne me réconforte. Je t'attends seul dans le noir. Je t'attends depuis trop longtemps. Je peux t'entendre dans mon cœur, un murmure de ma propre confession. Le moment de te rencontrer maintenant. Écoute mon cœur, où es-tu maintenant? Il s'agit d'attendre toute ma vie. N'entends-tu pas ma petite voix? Je t'attends depuis longtemps. de mon cœur, je t'attendrai même. Si j'ai mal au cœur, pour que tu puisses entendre ma petite voix, je t'attendrai. Je t'attendrai.
Now, I don't speak French, sadly. I can barely speak English sometimes, but luckily some very nice people out there have translated this to English so we can understand what they are saying. I'll also put the link to the post I got this translation from down below as well, so you can read it at your own pace. Lies of P has a lot of inspiration from France and Italy in terms of its style and culture in the game, so having a song sung in French makes a lot of sense for the period they are trying to set in the game. The song is about the longing and yearning for someone gone for now. Whether they are away or gone from this world doesn't matter. The heart yearns for what it wants, and that someday it'll come back to you. Unfortunately, there's not a lot to connect this in the context of acquiring this record, as it's just bought from a merchant. You could take it literally that whoever this record did belong to is yearning for its return, but I think that's a stretch. But in the context of the game as a whole, I think it's important to P's humanity. Missing something, especially over long periods of time, can take a toll on anyone's heart. It can be a struggle each day, especially if it's someone lost for good. That loss and hope that someday you will be reunited is a very human thing, especially hope. This isn't something P is aware of yet, but there are many characters or people from their past that they will come to remember and miss, and there are many more characters that are distraught at Carlos passing, P's previous identity. There's the hope that someday they will be together again, and while P is there, just not in the same way that he was before. Fascination is a fascinating record to get in Lies of P. Getting this record requires you to upgrade the puppet Paul and Dina's shop with more goods, and then buying the red apple that is available in the upgraded shop. Once this is purchased, you can give it to the red actress Adelina Corday to help quench her parched throat while she is suffering from the petrification disease. After beating the king of puppets, Adelina disappears and leaves behind a locket of her sister and the record Fascination for us to collect. Now, this story is not just about Adelina, but also her sister Patricia. Listening to the record, there are two standout instruments in this one, the cello and the violin. Early on in the record, they work in tandem, sharing the spotlight and working together to build a beautiful melody. But towards the middle of the song, the violin really takes the spotlight, going off on a solo that really builds and is such a powerful melody. This solo lasts until the end of the song, while the cello is playing a supporting role for the remainder of the song. Adelina was a famous singer before the puppet frenzy in the city of Krat, and she was known all around as the Red Actor, as she always wore her signature red dress. After giving her the apple, she would confess to you that she was jealous of someone else's voice, someone named Patricia. This Patricia was actually her sister, the white lady found a little before Adelina. Adelina had poisoned Patricia so that she could no longer sing, and Adelina would be the sole coveted voice out of the two of them. You can take this connection between our two sisters and our two instruments. If you think of Adelina as the violin and Patricia as the cello, you can see the story unfold in this song. They used to be very close, these two sisters, and both had a beautiful voice. But as their careers took off, Adelina became jealous of Patricia's voice. She poisoned Patricia so she could no longer sing, ruining her acting career and having her turn to a life as a stalker instead. The violin solo in the song is Adelina taking off in her career after leaving Patricia in the dust as a supporter for her as she could no longer help carry the melody together. This allowed Adelina to be the sole acting face of Krat, with statues erected in her honor. But Adelina always held the secret close and always regretted it, losing her connection with her sister. But Patricia was never the wiser to what happened, even calling out to her in her final moments with matching red dresses. One final thing to talk about in relation to our story and record is the name itself. Fascination can mean a lot of things. The people of Krat were fascinated with Adelina and her singing or acting, but I really think this is about Adelina's fascination with Patricia. Taking into account the description, it talks about when two people were the only ones in the world, when all the sadness was gone, when two sisters were on stage together, living their best lives, sharing their gifts to the world. I also wasn't going to talk about the golden records, as most of them are instrumental versions of songs with lyrics, or a different take on the record itself, but this one actually has lyrics that we can take a look at, as well as played in different places around Krat itself, beyond just the record player. I think it's important to take a look at. Again, it's in French, so I thank the people who have translated this for us. I simply met you, and you did nothing to please me. Yet I have a burning love for you, so nothing, I feel it, could defeat it. You'll always be my lover. I believe in you like it's supreme happiness. Sometimes I run away from you, but I always come back. It's stronger than me. I love you. The two places that this song is played is before your fight with Patricia, the White Lady. She played the record on the small stage on Rosa Isabel Street, near the Opera House.
Like your friends, let's have an encore performance of Pain.
The other place it's played, in quotations, is before you talk to Adelina for the first time. She's softly singing the song to herself as she loses her voice. Again, connecting these two sisters who were torn apart by Adelina's actions to Patricia. I don't believe this song was written about these two sisters, as it appears to be about two lovers, but you can still connect it to them. You did nothing to please me, yet I have a burning love for you. Adelina's regret is very strong for what she did to Patricia. Sometimes she runs away, taking the center stage and leaving Patricia behind, but she will also come back for her love for her sister. Now, how do we take this in the context of Lies of P as a whole? Well, human emotions are very complicated, as we have seen between our sisters. Regret, jealousy, vanity, and sisterly love. Puppets don't have emotions, so understanding why some people would make the decisions they make through an emotional reaction, rather than a logically sound decision, could be confusing. Understanding that humans can make terrible decisions and actions because of their feelings can help build one's character and humanity, and to learn from this and hopefully amend these wrongs before it's too late. Quixotic is a pretty easy record to obtain. After defeating Victor at the Grand Exhibition Hall, the Black Cat and Red Fox are waiting in front of the tram to our next destination. They just ask for a single gold coin fruit to help stave off the Black Cat's blindness, most likely from the petrification disease. If you give them a gold coin fruit, they'll give you the record Quixotic.
horse build up the seas, set the serpents alight. Defy the heights, behold your sight. For those windmills, let them run again. 'Cause I will fight. Let it be the cold rain, be it battle I cannot survive, or another cursed spirit come from the tide. Every morning, every night, my fate confide. Beyond our years upon the bridge across the stranger light. Those devils never break out of their great disguise. So I will fight. Another soul, another falsely fight. Those rambling words they pressed upon my soul. Every inch I blush towards the fatal side. Against the winds, against the lights, I shall conquer a lie. 'Cause when you stop to dream, your whole heart gives into life.
Now, I didn't know what Quixotic meant when I first obtained this record, so let me share the definition with you. Exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical. This record is one I would say has the greatest potential for personal interpretations. There are many ways you can take this song and poem, and I'm going to share my personal take. Please don't let this damper your personal feelings about this record, as I know this is another personal favorite of many people who play this game. The meaning behind the word Quixotic I think fits perfectly for what this record is about. This person, or this knight that the description of the record tells us, is trying to pursue an unrealistic or impractical goal. They are fighting against many obstacles and enemies to achieve their goal and stopping the evil that has plagued them. If you are familiar with the term, the indomitable human spirit, this record conveys just that. The indomitable human spirit is the belief that the enduring, unyielding, and resolute aspect of humanity allows us to persevere through adversity. It is the unbreakable force that lives within every human being, the unwavering spirit that propels us forward in the face of hardships, tragedy, and adversity. It is the inner strength that allows us to continue pushing forward when all seems lost, to rise above our circumstances and overcome the odds. Our hero of this record does not know if they will win this fight, be it battle I cannot survive or another cursed spirit come from the tide, but they are still ready to take on whatever adversity they face in the end, even if they don't make it. So I would fight. I shall conquer thine, 'cause when you stop to dream, your whole heart too gives into life. In the context of both getting this record and for the game as a whole, you meet with the Red Fox and the Black Cat right after being victor, and witnessing Simon Manus and Loxacia taunt Pete and reveal their true goals for building a better world in their eyes. They invite him to their island to try and stop them, even though it will be futile, relating to the story of the knight and his perilous journey to stop evil, even though he doesn't know if he'll make it in the end. But the record is given by Red Fox and Black Cat for your kindness in giving them the gold coin fruit. This isn't the first time that you meet them either. You can first meet them in Benini Works, where they'll scam you out of a gold coin fruit there, and also in the Malum district on the way to the Black Rabbit Brotherhood. There, they use you to help themselves into their territory for their own needs. And finally, you meet them here, asking for your assistance for a third time. At this point, we don't have a good reason to help them. They have been rude, they've used us for personal gain, and in all honesty, have not been very nice to us. But we still show kindness to them even after all of that, because everyone deserves a little kindness, especially in the end times such as these. This is the opposite of the original story that these characters are based off of in the book Pinocchio. In the book, both are real animals, a fox and a cat, that use Pinocchio for his money to make a quick buck, and also try to leave him for dead hanging in a tree. When they really need help at the end, Pinocchio does not help them, leaving them to fend for themselves. But this doesn't happen in Lies of P. P instead offers his kindness to these two troublemakers and is rewarded for it in this record. It takes humility, empathy, and understanding to still be kind to those who have wronged you in the past, and providing this to these characters makes him even more of a human than he was. To To receive this record, we must first meet Belle and invite her back to the hotel before beating Victor at the exhibition hall. Once she is there, she will eventually ask us to find her partner and companion, Atkinson, at Krat Central Station. When we find him, we discover that he is in the process of transforming into a carcass, the monsters we've been facing so far in our quest. He asks that if we meet Belle, to tell her that he died a soldier, so we can head back to the hotel and deliver the news on Atkinson. This time, we are prompted again to either tell the truth or lie. We can tell the truth and tell her that he was turned into a monster. This action will not provide the record, and she will refuse to speak to you any further. She will try and run to Krat Central Station on her own, and you can find her body next to Atkinson after he is fully transformed into a carcass. But if you lie and tell her that he was killed in action fighting a puppet, you will give her the letter from Atkinson, and she will tell you that she cared for Atkinson and is distraught over the news of his death. She will then give you the record, Why. This is another record that doesn't have any lyrics to it, so my musical analysis skills will have to do. This time around, it's a piano, violin, and accordion. We've had very similar instruments for many of these instrumental records, but each one has a slightly different lineup, which I appreciate. It keeps the variety fresh. The song has both the violin and accordion taking leads at different points, mostly sharing the spotlight between each other while the other takes a supporting role. One isn't trying to overpower the other, and the piano behind them taking them from one section to the next. As the description tells us, it's a song of aching love and whispers, and you can get that from our two main instruments. They share the spotlight, they support each other, and help each other succeed musically to make a great melody. It's how a relationship should work, with two different people coming together to make something beautiful together. But not all relationships have a happy ending. Even the record has a very somber end to it. There's not some grand ending, it just slowly fades its way out. This is how our record ties back into how we got this record. Both Belle and Atkinson are soldiers trying to find a way out of Krot, but got separated. She says they are partners, companions together, but after delivering the news, both lying or telling the truth, you can tell that there was something more there, something unsaid. They had a good relationship together, but it was unfortunately snuffed short, unable to blossom into something greater that they had imagined. And you may ask yourself the question, why? Why does this happen to good people, to those we love? And we may never get the answer, but there's solace in things around us. We have others in our lives, people who cared and will support us, even in trying times like this, like a soft piano in the background. This is another turning point for P in his search for humanity. Telling the truth causes Belle to go see for herself, ultimately get killed for her actions and search for a partner and the monster he became. But lying, while ultimately saying the same thing, that he is gone, leaves a happier memory for Belle to hold on to. She gets to remember the good times she had with him and believe he died heroically in the end. She believes our lie and does not believe our truth. We can see that for some people, living in ignorant bliss can be a good thing if it means the well-being and safety of those around us, as love can make people do crazy things. The love and care we have for those around us is what makes us human, what makes our story in the end. This is another afterthought. There are strong resemblances to other fairy tale stories in the game. This is a prime example of one of them, Beauty and the Beast. Belle's partner turned into a monster instead of falling in love with a monster that turned into a human. There are many other similarities, like the red fox and black cat we talked about in the story, or our cricket friend Gemini. There are just a lot of references to other media in the game that are fun to notice and recall from other fairy tales that don't really relate to the records. They're just fun little Easter eggs the devs have thrown in for us to find. To acquire Misty E'ra, we must first give Pol and Dina all of the Krot supply boxes found around Krot. Once this is done, you can buy the rusty cryptic vessel from him and have it deciphered. This will show the gate to the Hermit Cave in the barren swamp that will now be opened by us deciphering the vessel. Making our way to the end of the cave, we can defeat the elite carcass, which will drop the record Misty E'ra. This record is honestly a very strange one at that. I had to do a lot of digging to understand the story behind this record, and even now, I'm not sure it's entirely correct. Before we dive into the meaning behind the story, let's talk about the record itself. It's another instrumental record with the piano, cello, and what I believe is a flute, though I could be wrong, as there are some obscure instruments used throughout this whole soundtrack. Somewhere the instrument bandoneon is used, and it's similar to the accordion, so any number of the tracks that feature an accordion could be that instead. Just know that whenever I say the accordion or bandoneon, it could be used interchangeably, because I just don't know which is which. This record is very jazzy, almost something that would be played at a fancy restaurant over dinner. Jazz can invoke feelings of refinement and elegance, especially in slower and smoother jazz, similar to what this record plays. Compared to how we get this record, it doesn't really match the vibe of this record, but it does if you know who this carcass was beforehand. In the Lies of P DLC Overture, you can meet with this man Klaus, who is an avid collector of ancient coins and other trinkets from around Krat. Once you complete the DLC, he disappears, but he leaves a letter giving the hotel a 4-star review. This review is oddly similar to the writing of a famous reporter named Medoro, who you never meet in Lies of P, but you can find his issues all around Krat. What we do know of Medoro is that he released a special report to tease his findings about the dark secrets of Krat he had discovered, but before he could release them, the alchemist forced the newspaper to suspend him and ban his reports. This tarnished his reputation as a reporter, and after the puppet frenzy, he fled to the barren swamp. There, he was helped by the hermit of the cave as they both succumbed to their inflictions. It's believed to be possible that Klaus and Medoro are one and the same, and that he became the reporter after his stay in the hotel in the DLC and meeting Alidoro, who was researching the dark secrets of Krat. You can view different messages left across the wall by Medoro in hopes that someone would recover the truth and also help the blue butterfly that was suffering. It's unsure if the carcass we beat for the record is the Hermit of Hermit Cave or if it is Medoro/Klaus, but I personally believe that it's Medoro or Klaus, due to a message written by Medoro saying he came here looking for help with his friends Sofia, Lumaccio, and Lorenzini, all people we are familiar with from the hotel and around Krat. This is a long-winded way of saying that the carcass that we kill used to live quite famously, living in many different areas and hotspots to review and report. In a lot of higher-end areas, jazz is played for that elegance and sophistication that higher classes can have. So I think that this record is a reminder for Medoro of a time when he was happier, when he had it all going for him, and to keep his mind at peace as he slowly becomes a monster. Relating this to our overall narrative, there's a lot of ways you can take this, but I like the idea of holding on to hope and a piece of your past that can really ground you in times of hardship. Maybe you have a song you like from a time of peace in your life, or some other treasure item you keep with you. Everyone has something that they want to hold on to in their life, and this record was Medoro's. A happier time in his life before everything collapsed around him. He's also the only carcass that has fully transformed that still speaks to us, so maybe holding on to what makes us happy helps us stay more human. This record was actually changed in the way it's acquired since the release of the DLC Overture. It used to be a mutually exclusive record with our next one, Far East Princess, but can now be acquired in the same playthrough. How this record used to be acquired is by killing Alidoro after the hotel is attacked and defeating the Black Rabbit Brotherhood for the second time. You discover that the real Alidoro was killed by his partner Parrot, and he has taken on the mantle instead. Upon discovering this fact, you can talk to Eugenie and tell her the truth that the real Alidoro, the one killed before Parrot took over, is her brother. This is the way you used to get this record. Now, after the DLC, this record is given to you after you slay Alidoro directly, instead of needing to talk to Eugenie. So this record alone has no lyrics, but the golden version of the record is the same but with lyrics. So we are going to use the golden version of this record instead. Unfortunately, I could not find an English translation for this record available currently, so I have to use good old Google Translate to help with this one. We won't take it literally, but we can at least understand some meaning out of the translation, as well as the context of how he received this record, both the old and new way. The real Alidoro saved Eugenie when the workshop tower collapsed, losing a finger in the process. This left a lasting impression on Eugenie, and she always wanted to thank him for this. She makes him a pair of gloves, but the fake Alidoro rejects them, as they don't fit him. This then all culminates after he helped attack the hotel with the Black Cat, Red Fox, and the Black Rabbit Brotherhood, and you track him down. He confesses everything, that he stole Alidoro's identity after they had a feud, and that he was from the country of the morning. Once he's dead, we also get Alidoro's vessel that can be encrypted. Reading through, we can understand that Alidoro was Eugenie's brother, and stayed away from Eugenie to protect his sister while he was digging through Krot's dark history and secrets, though he always kept an eye on her from a distance to make sure she was happy and okay, before he vanished forever, though not by choice as he would have liked. We'll get to talk more on Alidoro later on when we get to the DLC records, as there is a lot more information on him there, but with a basic understanding of Alidoro and Eugenie's relationship, we can get a better lens to look at the lyrics of this record. You can make an argument for whose perspective this song is from. From Eugenie's perspective, she seems to be calling out to her brother, the one that saved her long ago and seems to have gone missing, though she can still feel him in her soul. The song really seems to be about a person who is gone, and those fleeting moments where you can still feel, sense, and remember them close by. Eugenie didn't know that Alidoro was her brother until the moment we get this record, pre-DLC, but she could still feel something about him even before she knew why. From Alidoro's perspective, this song seems to be about his longing to return to his sister for that time when all of this madness ends and he feels safe to return back. Even if you return with an echo, forgotten memories, a longing fragrance. Could be about if Eugenie would even want him even if he does return someday. It's a sad thought, knowing that both wanted to be with each other, but it could never be, due to the circumstances around them and the tragedy that befell Alidoro before he could return. The description for this record really helps understand the lyrics that we can't truly understand. If you kill this wolf, a flower grows from its heart. Alidoro the hound was killed, but his sister, his flower, will still grow and live on even without him. I don't think I need to go much further into relating this to P's humanity, but protecting the one you love carefully and from afar, no matter how hard it is proof of the goodness and care in your heart. Protecting and loving your family for whom you care about is about as human as you can be at any given point. It's a good lesson to take to heart as you listen to this record. As we discussed before, this record used to be mutually exclusive with Proposal Flower Wolf Part 1. You need to complete every step that you did for the previous record, but instead of telling the truth, you need to lie to Eugenie and tell her that he was just a talented stalker. There's been some confusion on exactly how to get these records, as some people don't get it when following these steps, and some people do. You can also miss it if you don't decipher Alidoro's cipher before talking to Eugenie, but there's reports that you can still get it even if you don't. I didn't get it by following these steps when recording footage, so I may have it all mixed up, but this is what most guides say to do, so I'm just going with my gut and trusting the internet on this one. It's what you're supposed to do, right? I think this is a very interesting name for this song. We know that both Alidoro and Eugenie came from across the ocean from a distant land, the country of the morning, as Parrot tells us. There's no factual evidence to suggest that Eugenie was a princess from this land, but it's interesting that it comes from her after telling her about her lineage with Alidoro. Even the description tells us that this melody comes from across the wide ocean, same as both the siblings. We went over a lot of their story for Proposal Flower Wolf Part 1, but I want to expand on the character Eugenie. We talked a lot about Alidoro's role in Eugenie's life, but she has her own experiences she shares with P. She tells us that she was abandoned and orphaned at a young age by her family, and that all she really knows of her home country and family is that they were a house of weapons specialists, and she wants to forge her own reputation as a weaponsmith. She's her own person outside of her brother and family, and she doesn't need them to succeed, even though she may want them around for that familial relationship. Based on the description of the song, it seems she's a little bitter. The candlelight burned in yearning for you. Don't tell me you love me. Today is all I have. It's like she's saying, I wanted you in my life, but you weren't there. Now here I am, strong today, and I don't need you anymore. The record itself is almost like a waltz, but very slow. It says it's an exotic melody, and we haven't exactly had anything like this yet in our records. It features the piano, guitar, and what I believe to be the bandoneon, though with a waltz, it's typically done with a partner. But Eugenie has no partner at this time, and the partner she would have had, her brother, is gone. You know how some people tend to waltz through life? It could be that she is imagining herself in this waltz with an imaginary someone, a hope that her partner is out there somewhere, or that she doesn't need anyone anymore. This is a solo waltz, and she's the star. This is a time where I think if you lie to Eugenie, things don't get better for her. I think telling Eugenie the truth about her brother and what he did for her is right, and that she deserves to know the truth. Yes, lying can make her feel better about the circumstances around Alidoro, but she can still sense that something is off, saying that her heart hurts all of a sudden. When you tell her the truth, it shows that other side of humanity. You don't have to hide truths from people that are important to their overall growth and character. If I had a brother that was trying to protect me from afar and failed, that's not something I would want kept hidden from me and could be considered cruel. Having the split decision was an interesting choice on the developer's side, and I honestly think it's a good decision to have changed the way the records were received. But this is the one time we receive a record for telling the truth. And I think it's because this isn't a white lie. This is a full-blown cover story for Alidoro. There are times where we aren't our best selves and don't make the best judgment, so it's good to see that there is some reward for telling the truth in this game, even if it goes against what the game has rewarded you for in the past. I think it's important to tell the truth, and this is not some white lie to make someone feel better. This is someone's memory being lost. Besides being the weaponsmith, Eugenie doesn't have a huge part to play in the overall narrative of Lives of P, but this small glimpse into her world and how these things mean to her shows how acts, little or big, can change a person's perspective and feelings in this world. To receive the record Memory of Beach, you must first give the cure given by Giangio to Antonia before beating Laxasia. Once you defeat Laxasia, you can warp back to the hotel and Polendina will inform you that Lady Antonia has passed away. Going to her wheelchair where she sat for the entire game, there will be a cherry-scented letter that when read will provide the record Memory of Beach. Lady Antonia is the owner of the hotel that is our safe haven throughout Lies of P. She is suffering from the petrification disease, as many people are at this time, and knows that she doesn't have much time left. She spends most of her time staring at the painting of herself in the side room of the lobby in the hotel. As the game progresses, her condition gets worse, and you are offered a chance to give her a cure. It works wonders, and the disease seems to have left her body, and the stones and boils on her face have disappeared. But once you beat Laxasia, she still ends up passing away. There are a lot of other secrets that Antonia held that we don't get a lot of information on. She seemed to know Carlo well, writing letters to Geppetto in the DLC, and she wrote a letter saying he had a bright future and was a good piano player. But she spends a lot of time reminiscing on her past, which is what this record is about. When this record plays, it's a solo piano player, with what I believe to be Antonia humming along with the piano. If we really want to get into speculation, you could make a point that this is Carlo, P's human form before becoming a puppet playing the piano, as we know that he was a good piano player. Based on the description, we know that this record is based on the idea of looking back on your life. Do you have a past worth looking back on? Memory of Beach will guide you to your memories of the cool ocean. So the idea is to remind you of the good memories you have of your life. The good times you will always remember, even in the bad times. Antonia is at the end of her life, and she knows it in the game. It's why she spends her time looking at her old portrait. She's spending her time reliving her memories before this disaster. I think it's important to reflect on your life from time to time, to remember how far you've come in your journey. This record is given at a perfect time during the game. It's at this point that you've come so far and have one last hurdle ahead of you at the top of the tower. So it's a good reminder to take a moment and remember and reflect on the choices you made during the game and how they have led you to the point you're at now. P at this point has grown close with many people at the hotel and around Krat. He gave Antonia much needed reprieve in the last moments of her life with the cure. She could finally live at peace in her own body for the final moments, and thanks him for the reminder of the young child she used to care for, Carlo. It's a subtle reminder to remember the good times of those you love, even after they are gone. It's human to miss those around you that are gone, and that they still live on in the memories you hold with them. This peace we gave Antonia helps us with our next choice we need to make with our next record. Shadow Flower is received once you beat Laxasia and proceed into the next room. Upon entering, you're greeted with the sight of our blue butterfly maiden, Sophia, entangled in a mess of webs and what I can only think is carcass-related fluid. She asks us to kill her so that she can be free from this pain. By selecting the choice, Give Her Peace, she is set free from this world and we receive our record, Shadow Flower.
Les fleurs de l'ombre, j'attends seul sous la pluie. Ton souvenir est de lui. Je te cherche dans mes S'il te plaît, sors-moi de cette obscurité écrasante. Montre-moi la lumière, garde-moi dans ton cœur. Je me languis de toi et je manque de rancœur ce soir. Montre-moi la lumière, garde-moi, s'il te plaît, sors-moi de cette obscurité écrasante. Montre-moi la lumière, garde-moi dans ton cœur. Je me languis de toi et je manque de rancœur ce soir.
This is another record that is sung in French, so thankfully we have our lucky translation guide to help us with this one once again. I tried to research what a shadow flower is, if it had any symbolism in other literature or a metaphor that I wasn't aware of, but there was no exact reference or otherwise common interpretations of a shadow flower. From what I could find, a shadow flower is meant to convey the beauty and grandeur of the flower, mixed with the dark and mysterious and potential for growth and emergence from difficult or hidden aspects of existence. It's not exactly a bad omen flower, such as the black dahlia or a black rose, but more of a flower hidden from view, lurking in the shadows ready to grow in its own time. And this honestly describes Sophia's story so perfectly that I think this record is a perfect package. Sophia's story is a tragic story all on its own. She grew up in the Monad charity house alongside Romeo, Carlo, and Leia, and was the daughter of Valentinus Monad, leader of the alchemists and founder of the Monad charity house. Sophia and her mother were what were known as listeners, which meant that they could hear ergo and communicate with puppets. Simon Manus coveted Sophia and her power, and at some point kidnapped her around the same time as the tragedy at the Monad charity house, and used her power to harness and use the ergo to reach godhood, rendering her in the state we see her when we find her at the Arch Abbey. This caused such deep pain for her that it split her soul, allowing her to project herself to puppets and empower the stargazers around Krot. She searched long for P to empower him in hopes that he would give her peace from her imprisonment. She's been turning back time to keep us safe on our journey, and also harness the power of the ergo we collect to make us stronger as well. When we give her peace, if we have gathered enough humanity throughout the game through our actions, our hair will turn gray to signify the growth P has had, and we take Sophia's ergo with us. After the final battle, P finds a blue-haired puppet designed similarly to Sophia, and with a selfless act, transfers Sophia's ergo into the puppet, bringing her back to life in this puppet form. I know that was a long-winded lore dump on Sophia, but I think it's important to know her mostly full story to fully understand the impact this record has. This song is about Sophia's longing for peace, and the many days spent suffering and pain, especially the second stanza. Show me the light, keep me please, take me out of this crushing darkness. Show me the light, keep me in your heart, I long for you, and I sleep alone again tonight. I believe this is about Sophia's hope that P is out there and eventually will save her from this endless night she is enduring. The song repeats its lyrics twice. The first time, it's a somber melody, almost like she's singing to herself, but when it repeats and she sings the phrases the second time, it sounds as if she's calling out this time, either out of desperation or a need to be freed from this life she's stuck in. The fact that we only get this song if we give her peace signifies to me that this song is her desperate call to P, her last hope for peace. What this means for P as a whole, though he technically has been tricked by Sophia all this time to help her instead of solving the puppet frenzy and petrification disease source as we thought, that people will do whatever it takes in desperate situations for themselves. But it's not that Sophia was cruel to us while working on her own agenda. She was kind. She was worried about the other residents of the hotel. She helped us become stronger and learn of our own gifts of becoming human. So while you can still work on yourself and have your own agenda, you don't have to be a monster to do so. You can do so working together with others so that everyone can reach their goals together. It's a parallel to Simon Manus, the one who kidnapped and imprisoned her, who would seek out and destroy anyone who opposed him and his goals, so that he was the only one on top. And in the end, when you give Sophia peace, that's one of the hardest decisions you have to make. Many loved ones fall ill, and it's hard to let them go in the end, even if they are wishing to please let them go. They don't want to be around, but we are selfish and prolong the inevitable because we can't let them go. But giving Sophia peace, we make the difficult choice to let her go as she wishes, and she thanks us in the end. Because ultimately for her, death is infinitely better than living in pain each and every day. It's a human thing to want to stay with your loved ones, but the power to let those loved ones go, that's real human strength. And that is it for the base game records. The next 4 records we will talk about all come from the DLC of the game, Overture. As a bonus, I will also include an honorable mention record that I believe should have been a record in the game, but is instead the main theme of Overture. To obtain the record Lisrim, we must first make our way to the carnival and meet the character Razora. She will ask us to find her shoes for her so that she may continue her journey to the Rose Estate to see her old friend. We can find her shoes on the carousel, and when we deliver them back to her, she gives us the record Lisrim as a thank you as she continues her journey. quick fun fact about this record is that the golden version of this song was the first song we heard from the DLC, as it was the song that played over the announcement trailer for the DLC. It's not exactly the same as what you just heard, but it's a faster paced version of the same song, which I think is cool. Apparently the word Lisrim does not have an official meaning. There is no English meaning for the prefix lis, but lis does mean lily in French, such as in the stylized lily symbol fleur de lis. Fleur de lis? Fleur de lis. Fleur de lis. Literally translated as flower of the lily. But for the suffix rim, it's apparently used in Tolkien work to mean host or a people of one kind or origin. So if we want to take a scuffed definition of the meaning of Lisrim, we could take it to mean the combination of the word lily and one-of-a-kind origin or a very special flower. And that's exactly what Rosora is, a one-of-a-kind special flower. As we follow in Rosora's footsteps, giving her energy to keep going, she'll give us pieces of a drawing as we help her along her way. The last time we meet her in the DLC, she says she can't go into the Rose Estate because it's full of sadness, but it's okay because she met P, the one who looks like her old friend and makes us promise to meet again in a happy place. Once we complete the DLC and go back to the present, she is waiting by a tree outside Krat City Hall, across from where we found the baby puppet from our first record. She has waited many, many years for us to arrive, and she gives us our final piece of the drawing as she passes away. A happy family all together with Carlo, Rosora, and their parents. May your every day be as happy as this one. It's unsure if Rosora was a puppet that Geppetto made for Carlo as a friend to play with, or if she is Carlo's sister reborn in the puppet Rosora, but either way, it's a reminder of a happy time before this disaster occurred when they were all together again. Rosora is very optimistic in each encounter that we meet her, and is making the most of each moment she has with P, and I would assume with anyone she meets. Lisrim is the joy of yearning for someone and embarking upon a journey after escaping the birdcage. The song to sing when dancing at the world's end. Lisrim is a reminder to enjoy the journey as well as the destination. Even if the destination or what you're looking for will make you happy, so will the people and adventures you'll take on your way to your destination. You can hear this in the record itself as well, with the accordion, cello, and violin trio all taking turns with a whimsical, almost fantasy-like melody, backed behind the piano accompaniment. It's as if each instrument is excited to take off on this journey together and be a beacon of hope at the world's end. This song has similar themes to the record in the base game, the yearning and hope for someone else in the dark at the end of the road. But this one takes an optimistic approach. Yes, we'll meet again someday, but also being blessed for everything else that will happen along that journey as well. Taking in each day and enjoying the gift of being alive, that's what makes us human. Nightmare might be the most fitting name for this record because the way you get this record is horrifying to think about over time. As you make your way through the ancient ruins, you come across someone using old puppets to try and communicate with others to try and help him. He says he's trapped in a box somewhere and can't feel anything in his body anymore, so it's been a long time. He asks that we look for him and free him. When we finally find him, it turns out that he is just a brain in a vat, still conscious but unable to do anything beyond thinking. Once he learns of his predicament, he asks that we turn off the machine as he doesn't want to live like this. If you help him and turn the machine off, he will thank you and you will receive the record Nightmare. Like I said, I think Nightmare is a very fitting name for this record. The story behind this record gave me chills the first time I heard it. The brain in the vat introduces himself as Alexander Goodman. He was an alchemist, which at first is a red flag. But he says he was on a date with the daughter of one of the most important alchemists. This honestly could be anybody. We don't know the extent of the alchemists and how many there were, but what we do know is that while he was on this date, there was a ruckus and someone put a bag over his head, and he woke up in this box. That's all he knows, but we know a bit more. We know that Simon Manus was also a high-ranking alchemist at the time, and Sophia was the daughter of Valentinus Monad, who was one of the leaders of the alchemists. I know what happens when you assume, but we can assume that he may have been on a date with Sophia, and when Simon learned of this, had him taken away to be a subject of his own experiment so he could keep Sophia to himself. There's no proof of this, but it makes sense with all of the information we know about everyone else. Alexander just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But the idea of becoming just a brain in a vat with nothing but your thoughts and no idea that you had even become just a brain, that's a horrifying thought. It'd be a nightmare scenario, honestly. He even questions if this is even living anymore, if he is alive anymore. He brings into question what even being human is, same as our song description describes. What is human and what is love? Nightmare, singing the sad love of those who have escaped humanity. This is a man who mourns the loss of his life he had, even though his life's work was completed and could live much longer than any normal human could, though being alive is still in question. And Liza P has been keeping themes of this throughout the entire game, with puppets gaining ego and P himself becoming human over time. Is all that it takes to be human the conscious thought and understanding of others? It's not an easy question to ask, and one I'm not qualified to answer, but it is food for thought. We got a little off topic, and I haven't even gotten to the record itself. We talked about how the title matches the story for when we received the record, but the record itself uses the soft use of the accordion and violin early on, making almost a dreamlike state in the song, before taking off with our usual piano accompaniment behind it. It's not a scary song though, like you would expect with a song about nightmares, but more upbeat and bouncy. It can be seen as a moment when you realize you are in a nightmare. It's not a scary monster, but a realization that you're in a terrible situation that you didn't know you were in until now. And just like most nightmares, as fast as it came, it's over as it slowly fades out. We kind of touched on what makes us relate to our overall narrative, but the understanding that other things can be alive as much as a puppet can help relate to making P more human. Understanding that other living things are here in different shapes and forms, and even helping them can help ourselves become more human and kind in our own way.
Open your eyes, open up the clear blue sky.
To get the record, The Clear Blue Sky, we must first meet Goddard the Blind. She needs us to pick her painting off the ground for her. When we put it on, she asks if it's a beautiful painting, but it's just a blank canvas. We can choose to either lie or tell the truth, it doesn't matter, but later on we can find her art supplies in the alchemist facility underground. Returning these to her and coming back later, we will find that she has passed, but left behind a letter thanking us for our kindness and a painting on the blank canvas we left called The Painter's Sky. Reading the letter is also what rewards us with the record.
Open your eyes, open up the clear blue sky. I'll be there to hold you close in my mind. Can you see the snow melting down the sea below? Celebrate every new day to start again.
This is my personal favorite of the records from the DLC. I just think it's beautifully arranged and made me cry the first time I heard it. This story is very self-contained, and it doesn't really spill into any other story or lore we know about Lies of P. We know Goddard was an alchemist until she lost her sight in an accident, but that's about the extent we get from her. When we return her art supplies, she becomes inspired and finishes her painting that we receive at the same time as the record, and we can put it up in the Eventide Hotel, the past version of the hotel we know from the base game. Once the DLC has been completed, we can view it in the hotel in the present day, and in doing so, turns the painting from a dark and cloudy sunrise or sunset into a painting of a beautiful blue sky during the day, though it's not a clear blue sky. This honestly does confuse me, as I'm not sure how altering the past in any way, shape, or form would turn the painting into a brighter version of that painting, especially if that painting originated from the time to begin with. But that's what happens, so that's what we'll go with. Now we can take the easy route if we want to on this one. The connection between the clear blue sky and a painter that paints a beautiful blue sky is sitting right there. But I think there's more to it than that. Goddard used to be able to see until not that long ago, and is now living the rest of her life blind. She may feel trapped without her sight, especially as a painter as well, wanting to break free. Like this phrase here, silence. A breath of my soundless wing changed the darkness into a flawless ring. And that's what she's done. Even in this darkness, she has made something beautiful. Though she may never see it, many others who visit the hotel will be able to see it and enjoy its beauty, long after she is gone. I think this song is more about the highs and lows of life, that while the ice will bring you down again, we can celebrate a brand new day and start again. Each new day brings something new, and it can't be darkness forever, as a clear blue sky is always on the horizon. This record was not easy for me to understand. While I didn't have to translate or figure out the meaning of words, there just wasn't a lot to go off in the story of this record. But I'm confident in believing in its overall themes to Lies of P. I believe that many people are creative at heart, whether they believe it or not, and there are many outlets for being creative. Maybe you feel that need through work, but I think many people don't. People have other outlets for their creative side. D&D, storytelling, writing, drawing, painting, video creation. The list goes on for how people fuel their inner child and passions. And I love the ways people make themselves happy. And that's a very human thing to do. Following your passions and creative flows to make and create something new to share with the world. It's an important aspect of who we are and how we make our mark on this world. And that's exactly what Goddard did. She may have been part of horrible experiments that happened around her, but she took that energy after all of that and put it into something beautiful, something that other people will remember her for, rather than her actions before this.
I didn't notice this until literally editing this video, but when you enter the hut for the fisherman's side quest, the clear blue sky is playing in here. This just furthers my confusion on what this record means, as it's not Goddard who is his wife, so who knows. Maybe it's just a record that's popular around Krot, like Golden Fascination.
And we've made it to our final record, though this one is technically two records in one. Instead of there being a golden version of this record, there's a red version of this record. It's very similar on both records, except one is sung by a male voice and the other is sung by a female voice, and we're going to go over the story of both. To get the first version of Survivor, you must first decipher and solve all of the ciphers with the tracker to discover multiple dark secrets of Krot. After the final one, he will ask P if he thinks the terrible truths that he knows will ever be revealed to the people of Krot. In order to receive the record, you must lie to him that they will be, and Krot will be saved. He tells us our words bring him comfort and talks on his feelings for Eugenie and his hopes of her having a happy life, when we then receive the record. The red version is found after defeating the final boss of the DLC. We are given a key to a secret room in the Eventide Hotel, which is Leia's room from before. There we find a message left by Leia to Carlo. After the conclusion of this message, we receive the red version of Survivor.
I want to try something different with this one. Since they are both pretty similar, I want to overlay them together so you can hear both at the same time. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, so I apologize in advance if it sounds horrible. You can listen to each one individually on YouTube or any streaming service, I believe, so if you want an authentic listening experience, you can go there. Anyway, let's see how this goes.
Close your eyes and listen up. Everyone's paying attention to you. You look so sad. You don't have to be so wise. Feel your beat of your heart. Carry on. Please forget about your past fears and trust yourself now. No turning back. Just keep the flame alive inside of you. And there's no need for tears. Look into yourself. Don't cry no more. If you're here, we're not scared anymore. I know that we will be the last survivors. Cause you're here. Never give up. It won't be that easy. Pick yourself up. I know that you will always win. Because you're the chosen one. Don't cry no more. If you're here, we are not scared anymore. Don't cry no more. If you're here, we are not scared anymore. Don't cry no more. If you're here, we are not scared anymore. Don't cry no more. If you're here, we are not scared anymore. Cause you're here.
We talked a lot about Alidoro and his relationship with Eugenie during the story section of Proposal Flower Wolf Part 1 and Far East Princess. But this time we get to actually see the real Alidoro, though in the DLC he is only known as the Tracker. In the DLC, we find him researching and studying what the alchemists are up to in their underground facility, working on and uncovering their secrets. He tasks us with finding any information we can on secret wrongdoings of the alchemists around Krot. And what we uncover is pretty dark, though not important to our record, as this record is about Alidoro once again. But not just Alidoro. There's another character we get to see in the Lies of P DLC that was mentioned in the base game, and that is the legendary stalker Leia Florence Monad. Leia grew up as the adopted daughter of Valentinus Monad at the Monad Charity House. She eventually left her adopted family to become a stalker, but she chose her own path, rather than joining one of the ranks as a bastard or a sweeper. Leia's status as legendary came when she defeated Arlecchino, a puppet whose ergo had awakened as a serial killer, murdering many humans in the city of Krot. After this, she took on two apprentices, Carlo, before he passed, and Romeo, who we tragically have not talked about at all in this video. Romeo hears of a disturbance at Krot Zoo and goes to check it out while Leia stays behind to recover as she is suffering from the petrification disease. Romeo disappears at the zoo, and Leia, instantly knowing something is off, searches far and wide for him across all of Krot instead of resting. She meets up with P at the Rose Estate, the place that they all grew up, and finds Romeo alive but very mangled and beaten. Together, both P and Leia take down Arlecchino, the puppet behind Romeo's kidnapping and wounds. As the realization sets in on who P is as they save Romeo, P disappears back to his own time, as Leia thanks Carlo for his help. This is a basic understanding of Leia's story and mindset when going into this final battle against Arlecchino. This battle is important because this is the last time Leia is seen by anyone in Crop besides Geppetto, and he would never reveal that for some reason. Leia is a very determined person. She goes to great lengths to save Romeo, all while in great pain from the disease she is suffering from. This record is almost exactly the mindset Leia has when searching and fighting for Romeo throughout all of the DLC. Look into yourself. Don't cry no more. If you're here, we are not scared anymore. I know that we will be the last survivors, 'cause you're here. Never give up. It won't be that easy. These are the words Leia is most likely telling herself because she can't afford to break down. Not yet. There are still people that need her in this world, and she can't let them down, as she has already failed one of her apprentices, Carlo. She will not fail Romeo, and makes that very clear. I do like that this is the same record from Leia's point of view as you get from Alidoro's, making it both of them singing the same song, just from different points of view. Alidoro is moving forward to protect his sister from the terrible truths and dangers he has encountered in his life, so she can live her own life in peace. He can't go back anymore and must follow through on this path he has taken, while Leia needs to keep moving forward to protect her apprentice, who saved her from herself when she needed them most. She needs to return the favor in any way she can. They must both be survivors to protect the ones that they love. This is probably the most human story out of all of the records we have seen. Every person is just trying to survive in this crazy world we live in, and we are all doing what we can to make it through each day. But I like these comforting words this song provides, to trust yourself, forget about your past fears, and trust yourself in who you are now. This is what makes you human, being able to pick yourself back up when you're at your lowest, and keep moving forward to strive for a better day tomorrow. Because if we give up now, then no longer are we survivors in this world. We are just victims to our own circumstances. P may not be fully human in form, but with everything these records tell us on how to live our best lives and becoming the human we always could be, he's just about as human as anyone else in this world. There's one last song I want to talk about before we end this video. It's not technically a record from the game, but it's good enough that I want to talk about it. The song I want to talk about is the Lies of P Overture title theme, the song that plays when you first load into the DLC of the game. And while it's the first song you hear from the Overture DLC, it's also the last. You see, in the same room that we acquired the Red Survivor record, you discover that this song that plays was a song played together by Romeo, Leia, and Carlo back when they were all still together as apprentice and teacher.
My dearest Carlo, listening to this song always reminds me of you. Do you remember the time we all gathered to play this piece together? We were happy then. They were precious, if all too short moments of happiness. Perhaps those times were so precious because of their brevity. Why is it that we humans always look for more when happiness is already in our grasp? I couldn't appreciate what we had then. But that wasn't because I found you tiresome. After breaking ties with the Monad family, I was lost. I could barely take care of myself. So taking responsibility for you and Romeo, it was more than I could bear at the time. But in the end, you two saved me. You washed away all the spite and hatred in my heart. Legendary Stalker. A worthless title. That cruel end should never have been your fate. It was only when I held your pale, cold face in my hands that I understood that we should have stayed together. That I should never have left the two of you. But now you belong to the past. I shouldn't cry. It happens to us all. Eventually, I will join you there as well. No one lives forever. So in time, we will meet again. And in that moment, my wish is that I get to sit with you washes over us, and we share a love. Together, your teacher, Leia.
I wanted to include this song because I think it encapsulates all of the themes and messages we have talked about in this video. This song, with Leia's final message to Carlo, and us, never fails to bring me to tears. It's a moment of weakness for Leia, when she is drowning her sorrows in wine and filled with regret of what could have been. With the song she played with their best friends of old, remembering the happy times that they shared together in this moment. While she may have been a survivor, she also held much darkness in her heart over things left undone. It's a reminder to cherish these moments, to feel as much as possible, to serve others when you can, that someday you will be together again, and though you may regret the decisions you made, you can still grow and learn through the kindness you share with others. And that love can make us do crazy things. But if we can remember our past and ground ourselves in things we love, we may just be able to protect the ones we love, even if we need to do it from far away. We always will have difficult choices to make, so remember to always reflect on who you are and who you want to be. You are special. Enjoy being alive, even if you don't feel like you are in this moment, because there are bluer skies ahead and you are a survivor in this world. And don't let anyone take that away from you, because being human is hard. You control who you are and who you want to be in the end, a puppet or a human. And don't forget,
this is your story now.
I just hit record on this because I really actually don't know what I want to say at the end of this video. It's quite a feat for me to put this video out. My goal was to get a video out every 2 months now. So the last one I put out was in August. That was the Paper Mario video. And now we have this one, which is astronomically more work than the Paper Mario video was. I'm very proud of this one that I just put out, but I will not do a video like this again for a while. That's for sure. It was a lot of work, and it was about the beginning of October that I finally got around to editing it after I had put the script together, and I was worried that I was not going to get it out. But it's coming out on November 1st, so not quite 2 months, but close enough. It works out. But I am now all settled. We should be able to get videos out at the consistent stream now. I moved and bought a house, moved into and bought a house this month, so that has taken up a majority of my time lately. So the fact that this even did come out when it did is a miracle, but hey, we did it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for sticking around this long. I know your time is precious, so you sticking around to watch a 2-hour video about a narrative analysis on these records is frankly quite impressive, and I thank you for taking the time to watch that with me. You know, I put a lot of hours into this, and I'm proud of it, so thank you. I will see you all in the next one. What's playing right now is a sneak peek at the next project I'm going to work on. It is not going to be 2 hours long, I can promise you that. The goal is to stick to shorter videos for a little bit until I get the energy or the desire or the drive to do another big one like this. But yeah, thank you. That's all I can really say.